Welcome to the Supplement Engineer Podcast. My name is Robert Chinetsky. Today we are joined by Mike Rhoten, the co-founder of Axe Sledge Supplements and American-Made Nutrition. Welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Howdy. I'm doing great. Excited to do this and talk to you a little bit and have everybody learn a little bit more about us.
Fantastic. So anytime you're a first-time guest on the show, I always like to start with the backstory. So how did you get into the supplement industry? You know, we've had people that either had a background in science and transition, they either had a brick and mortar experience, or they were reps for companies. So give us a little insight into your backstory. Did you have a passion for supplements, or just you're a business junkie?
Sure.
Let's go there.
A little bit of everything, really. My uh, personal fitness and supplement journey probably began about almost 20 years ago now. So I have a background as an athlete. Played Division I baseball at University of Pittsburgh. Obviously took a lot of supplements in high school, the shitty protein days, creatine or steroids days, and just kind of took supplements leading through my college career. Unfortunately, got injured quite a bit pitching, had to get out of it. But my path to Axe Sledge American Nutrition probably began really about 6 years ago. I built a house across the street from a gentleman who's a business partner now, Pat, and we just became best friends. He owned a manufacturing company at the time, a lot of encapsulation, some protein, some powders, but we just became best friends. I owned a marketing company at the time. Our wives became best friends, kids became best friends. So we started on that path first before we moved into business together. We both were going through things that neither were comfortable with. We always sort of had different goals for ourselves than we were currently living up to.
Yeah.
And then one day he's like, but I could build a website for you. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I own a marketing company, I could probably figure that out. I know, obviously, I take a bunch of supplements, just being an athlete. And I'm like, one day we're like, you know what? Let's just go balls deep. Let's just do this. We became best friends. We love each other. We trust each other. And that's not something we felt like we had, with our own businesses at the time.
Yeah.
But that's when the birth of American-Made Nutrition started. So that was almost three and a half years ago now. That we started AMN. From there, we started in his basement. Literally got rid of everything that we own, our offices, our businesses, everything. Just cut ties completely. We filled up his basement with product. We live on a cul-de-sac in this little in east suburb of Pittsburgh. And we had full freight trucks coming in, dumping pallets off, disrupting the neighborhood. I mean, our wives were over it, our neighborhood over it, our manufacturer. It was like, we really shouldn't be delivering, sending skids and pallets to your house.
Right.
Like, well, trust us, it'll be fine. We promise one day we're going to sell enough and you're actually going to make some money off of us, I hope. But we filled up his basement. Then we filled up his garage. Then we filled up my basement. Then we filled up my living room. And we were like, we got to get out of here. The wives are going to kill us. But we ended up buying a little storefront right off of little highway here in Pittsburgh, and had two little offices. It had a little nutrition storefront, and we had about 1,500 square feet in the back. So we started there, brought everything out of the house, and that's when things really began to start moving. So I have a background in marketing and sales. Pat has a background in manufacturing, formulation of products, and sales as well. And that's when we really started clicking on all cylinders. And then we had a mutual acquaintance that was doing a little bit of sales for us at the time. That one day was like, I'm really good friends with this guy. He's a pretty big name in the industry. And listen, I'm not a bodybuilder. Never claimed to be a bodybuilder. I don't love bodybuilding. It's just not me. Okay. That's why me and Justin get along so well, I think.
Yeah.
But I respect the fuck out of the sport. I'm sorry I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but it's going to happen.
Anything and everything is okay here. There's nothing off the table.
Good. All right. Perfect. But I respect the shit out of the sport, the people, the sacrifice. But anyhow, so a gentleman came across and he was doing some sales for us, and he's like, I got to introduce you to this guy. He's kind of a big deal. And I'm like, all right, sure. Who is he? And he's like, his name is Seth. It's Seth Feroci. And I'm like, I have no idea who that is, dude. I don't have a clue. But anyhow, it's at that point you have this young business
Hmm.
and you're willing to take risk. You have to take the risk.
Right.
And we're like, okay, you know what? He looks like he has a good social media presence. He looks like he has a super loyal following,
Hmm.
which none of these other big name Instagram celebs really have the loyalty. They just have people that like to stop by their page and see what they're up to, sort of thing. But
Hmm.
anyhow, so we got introduced to him. This guy actually got Seth and his partner Bobby with All American Roughneck, their apparel brand, to come in. We sat down with them. We were like, "Fuck you." He's like, "Fuck you." We're a bunch of fuck yous back and forth. We don't trust you. You don't trust us. And it was like 3 hours of four grown men in my tiny little shitty uh, office, breathing down each other's necks, sweating. And so we left, and we're like, okay, well, that's probably not going to work out. And then 2 days later, they came back in, and I'm like, it was a lot cooler. We were probably in it for 4 hours again. Um, just well, we learned a lot about each other.
Hmm.
We learned that we've all been fucked over at one point or another. We learned that we've all been under control of really shitty leadership at one point or another.
Hmm.
We learned that we all have the same family values. We learned that um, something instantly clicked to where we trusted each other way earlier than we probably ever expected to. And then that's when we created a deal that was fair for everybody, and we decided to start Axe Sledge Supplements. Seth was with Primeval at the time,
Hmm.
so he gave them a few months, and we started Axe Sledge on a fair basis, fair ground, and man, it was just a wild chain of events, but we've done everything and stuck to our guns. We haven't cheapened anything. We haven't sold our soul to the devil on deals that sometimes seem too good to be true.
Hmm.
Um, we've just done it the right way, the rightest way that we know how.
Yeah. Excellent. As a brand owner, when you are, I guess, courting an athlete or bringing them over, is there any repercussions? Because you obviously you've got other athletes in addition to Seth. Is there ever something as a brand owner where you realize that, hey, they might be working with another company, and then they're coming to us? How do we make sure that the athlete is not just looking for either a bigger paycheck, a bigger supplement haul, and how do you try to convey that to your fans? Because a lot of fans might just interpret it as, oh, well, this is the company's flavor of the month here, and they'll be with some other brand, 6 months from now if they get outbid or something like that. How do you go about searching for authentic figures to bring into the family?
That's a great question. And and to be blunt, we haven't been able to, we haven't done that. We haven't been able to yet. We've spoken with quite a few people, um, but like I said, we're in such a unique position that we're so sensitive to outsiders coming into our business that it's really difficult for us to get over the hump of creating new relationships in an industry where relationships, real relationships, are difficult to come by.
Right.
Um, uh, to say that we have, say, like an athlete, I mean, I would put a couple people on that level that we have relationships with. One would be Dean Proud,
Hmm.
and the other would be Krista. She's our girl that you might see in some of our social media. But these relationships were built years and years and years ago. It's not like we poached anybody. Krista's been doing working with All American Roughneck for 4 years now.
Hmm.
So she's a local girl that we've known. We've developed a great friendship with first again.
Yeah.
And the same with Dean. Dean was with 5%. He was with Work Ethic with Cass Martin. And so Dean he's mature. He's been around,
Hmm.
but we've had a relationship with him for 5 years as a good friend, as somebody that we've never looked at as competition, and a guy that we can trust. And we have him up here. He hangs out with us, our families. Totally different than us paying somebody to show off our product or something like that.
Right.
We don't have that anywhere. We don't have a person that we pay money
Hmm.
to talk about our product. We do, people talk about our marketing a lot because
Yeah.
it's a very organic grassroots sort of ideal, but
Hmm.
we don't, if you go to our website and leave our website, you're not going to find an ad coming at you to bring you back to our website.
Correct.
Yep. Just like, if you go to our website and put something in your cart and you leave, you're not going to get an email that says, "Hey, here's a discount for 10% off." We don't do it. It's unheard of to not do these things in this industry.
Yeah.
But that's just a part of our organically growing company. It's not something that's going to fall apart overnight if an algorithm changes here or there. It won't.
Right.
Only way it'll fall apart is if we do it to ourselves, and we're just not going to do that. And one of those things would be to sign a big name athlete, and for them to, you know, fall off the rails or just do something bad and have us be their name that's backing them.
Yeah.
And that's a risk that we just, it's a difficult risk for us to take. We'll take risk on our own because we believe in ourselves. And if somebody fucks something up, and if we do it, that's on us. But to trust somebody else with the power of representing our brand, very difficult for us.
Gotcha. Where did the name Axe Sledge come from? That's how did you, I mean, it seems like it's, you know, a natural, y'all are living a lifestyle. It's not something that you're trying to be a poser, or it's not something that's authentic to you. Y'all all kind of seem to have this, you know, this good old boy attitude, but you know, you're living the lifestyle and you actually are that without calling yourself a lifestyle brand.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. We don't get that very often because I think it's we've become a little bit of a household name. So I think people just kind of rattle it off and just think of it as such. But so our backgrounds are all very, very blue collar, super blue collar guys. So there's 4 owners to the company. And I'll just take one step back before I answer that. But to give you an idea of the way that we live life, so we started this company, right? I had American Made Nutrition with Pat. Bobby and Seth had All American Roughneck together. Then we started Axe Sledge. We now have a umbrella company that owns everything equally. We all share. So the 4 owners, myself, Pat, Bobby, Seth, all 4 equal owners. And we have this umbrella company called 4 Dickheads. So it's 4DH Inc. So the checks that our employees get are signed by 4DH. And because the story that I just told you about how we met, Seth tells the same exact story, but he calls it just 4 dickheads hanging out in an office creating this company. So that's how we came up with 4 dickheads. So 48 Inc. Anyhow, we're super blue collar guys. I mean, I used to be a coal miner. My background, my education's in I've majors in design and advertising, marketing, and then I have a MBA. They all have their college degrees, but everybody went through a blue collar life at one point or another. So. I grew up doing landscaping. I grew up doing just maintenance work around schools. Then I graduated, got into the corporate world, and fucking hated it. Fucking hated it. I have a passion for. I have a problem with authority. I know that. I always have. But a good leader can lead me anywhere. I've always believed that. And that's where I fell in love with the coal mine. Because I got to be a foreman in a coal mine, run my own crew, but I had some of the greatest men I've ever worked with in my entire life. And that's one place that you have to depend on the guy next to you to live. You literally have to depend on him. So that's where and I've always been a teammate playing baseball. So I've always had this mentality of looking out for the guy next to me, if I love him, if I trust him, and wanting that. So, and Seth, I mean, shit, that dude's done every blue collar job in the world. Same with Bob, same with Pat. Pat's got a coaching background, so he's our huddle up guy and brings us back down to earth whenever we get out of hand, you know. But so anyhow, so being just working blue collar lifestyle and still living it today, Axe and Sledge came from the axe and the sledgehammer, the 2 hardest working tools in any blue collar industry, because I've swung a pick for 12 to 15 hours in a coal mine before, taking out channel samples. And I'll tell you, the next week of your life is a living hell. One of Seth's favorite things to do is swing an axe and chop wood. People think it's for the think it's for the pictures, but no, that's his meditation. That's where he goes and he gets out of the digital world. That and cardio, So
Mhm.
it was just the two hardest working tools in the blue collar industry that we could come up with, that we could think of. And that's it. It has nothing to do with supplements, nothing to do with any marketing scheme that we thought of. It's probably not a great name to go and to open a supplement business with, but it's just, like I said, it's just who we are.
Mhm.
And if it's not something that we live and breathe, then we just can't get behind it. So, I mean, we just went all in. We had to.
Fantastic. I
Yeah.
want to rewind back to your college days. Give the listeners an insight into what I guess like the nutrition and supplementation usage practices, the general aura around it is. I guess because y'all have trainers, you went to a Div 1 school, so Pitt is a very well known school. So what, if anything, are y'all given as far as recommendations, advice, suggestions for supplementation?
Oh, it was terrible. It was awful. I love my coaches and trainers to death, but it was basically just choke down an EAS drink right after training in the
Eek.
mornings. I mean, that was it, dude. That was it. Um, they didn't give any guidance into. They probably do nowadays a
Mhm.
lot more. I'm assuming 20 years later, but
Yeah.
they didn't give any guidance into nutrition. They didn't give any guidance into supplementation outside of just make sure you drink one of those strawberry or vanilla EAS drinks before you leave today. That was it. I mean, honestly, that was it. Of course, at home, I always had, my supplementation, but as far as the college goes, there really wasn't too much that I learned during the college days, which
Mhm.
which is great. I can't imagine what they're doing nowadays. I'm sure there's great programs, but I'd actually like to figure that out and touch base with them, see what they're up to. But unfortunately, I didn't have too much experience with it back then.
No. Have you ever thought about, and I've asked this to a few brand owners, and I'm curious to think your thoughts on, or get your thoughts on it. Is there any interest, I guess, in as a supplement industry owner in being the official supplement brand of a college sports team? Like you can have University of Pitt baseball team sponsored by Axe Sledge, or
Yeah,
you can have one of your banners like out in the left field, but bleachers or
that would
something
be
like that.
awesome. I would love that. I would love that because I mean, Axe and Sledge probably can't do it just because of our content.
Yeah.
American Made Nutrition probably could.
Hmm.
So American Made is more of a more of daily essentials. Your digestive enzymes, probiotics,
Yeah.
daily cleanse, greens sort of company. A little bit cleaner, not as rough around the edges. Just fill some other gaps, but it would be so cool. It's so difficult though because I think the NCAA dictates a lot of what they can and cannot do.
Hmm.
Um, but I do remember reaching out. I reached out to my old coach when we first started American Made Nutrition because I remember how shitty the products were whenever I was there. But I think there was a lot of hoops to jump through. We were also not informed sport, informed choice approved.
Hmm.
It's things that are just stamp a label and to say, hey, we're good to go.
Yeah.
We didn't have third party testing at the time, um, but that would be the coolest thing in the world for me. I mean, we're huge sports guys here. So I always thought that'd be really, really special to do. But I'm not sure. I think you have to be a lot more powerful than I am and know a lot more people than I know to kind of get into that realm.
Hmm.
We, we don't mess around with too many people. We don't talk to too many people. We don't know
Yeah.
half of what's going on in the supplement industry compared to what a lot of other companies do.
Hmm.
Uh, I know they all got their head on a swivel, always looking around, trying to judge this guy, judge that guy, and duplicate what they're doing, but duplicate it better. And we just sort of have tunnel vision, and we only fuck with the people that we really enjoy, and that's why that's why I'm talking to you. That's why I like Justin Hall. I mean, we have a tight group, super
Excellent.
tight group.
Uh,
Yeah.
what were some of the, I guess, the early hurdles y'all experienced as a team with getting both of the supplement brands up and running, American Made and Axe and Sledge?
American Made, tremendous hurdles. With American Made, so when Pat left his manufacturing company, you could probably guess which one it is based here in Pittsburgh. But when he left that company, there was a extended period of time where he couldn't use any of his contacts. He couldn't talk to anybody. We couldn't really leverage his connections in the industry.
Right.
I had no connections in the industry. I ran a marketing company. I owned a marketing company. I know how to market a company, but you have to market a company that has some grounds to market.
Correct.
So that was a really difficult part. So me not knowing any better, I jumped in and did all the fucking same mistakes I see these other companies doing, and it pisses me off to this day that I didn't see through it. But you live and you learn, and you're better for it after. So I did all the stupid shit, right? Try to get every local celebrity, hometown celebrity on board that I possibly could. I tried to get anybody from X amount of followers to Y amount of followers on board. And we sunk money into them. We sunk product into them, and it didn't calculate into a winning formula. I'll put it that way.
Gotcha.
But then we lived and we learned. We realized how good we are with relationships. We realized that we could get people to trust us over time. We then started. We hit the phone so hard, dude. It was absurd how many phone calls we made, how many no's that we heard, until eventually, and we had manufacturing problems because Pat being a manufacturer, we leave the manufacturing side, and then we have to go find out who in this shithole of a manufacturing industry we can trust. And we got fucked over from the first order we put in, and it came. That company is no longer in business. I think two of them aren't. But once we found our true forever manufacturing partner, things just changed for us. We started hitting on all cylinders with the sales, with our relationships, with flavor profiles went through the roof compared to before. The consistency was so much better. We had access to different patented ingredients. Things just started changing for us with AMN to where we didn't have to count on the hometown celebrity to get 4 sales tomorrow to pay the rent.
Gotcha.
But that's literally where we were at. I mean, we were depending upon other people, and that's not a place we ever wanted to be. That's not a place we'll ever go to again. But once we figured out the business model that worked, luckily 6 months of just really picking up steam with AMN, is when we were introduced to Seth. And when Seth came in, we had a formula. It was done. We're like, here's what we do. Here's what you do. Here's how we're going to scale this thing. And Seth, being with his experience with all these other companies that he represented, Seth knew exactly what not to do already. Seth did not come into this as a sponsored athlete relationship. He didn't come into this as somebody that is just going to promote a product. He knew exactly what he wanted to do from fucking day one. And we were like, okay, you sound exactly like we want you to sound right now. Yeah. So, like you said, I mean, where he's been, and some of the companies were, just on fire at the time, and he had a lot to do with it. But it was refreshing to have him come in, as confident as he was in who he is and what he is, and as confident in knowing not what to do or what not to do as we were. So it was just the right timing. And the fact that we all somehow live here in Western PA, I lived 15 minutes from him, and I had no idea who he was or what he was, and his ability to capture an audience. And his ability, I mean, he knows product. The guy knows his product. So, it was just a sort of a perfect storm that hit. And the hurdles with Axe Sledge would be the main ones, were, expanding our distribution. We don't use any third parties, no third party logistic companies. We don't use any distributors. Nobody. We distribute everything from our locations. So the monumental growth that we had, it was very difficult because we had our 2,500 square foot storefront with the 1,500 square feet in the back. Then we had a 5,000 square feet facility that we added on June 7th of 18 when we started Axe Sledge on our launch day. That June 1st we moved in. June 7th we launched. And then we didn't have any room there, so we got a 10,000 square foot facility across the street from it.
Yeah.
Um, and that just that couldn't handle it either. Now I'm sitting in our 25,000 square foot facility that has our private gym for content, our offices for the media guys, and then the 4 owners are here. So the challenge of the growth, we're being able to keep stocking our select retail partners, be able to keep the direct to consumer shipping moving to find people. We have the coolest group of customers in the universe, and we launched a program called the Demo Crew, which is we have right around 4,000 people a part of. It's not your typical affiliate program. There's no tiers to do this, tiers to do that. It's just a community. So we had to also build an infrastructure in house to support a community of a growing, 4,000 people that need our content, that need our attention, that need our customer service on a completely different level than they're used to being provided. So, because we say it every day, we're a customer service business. If somebody's willing to spend their hard-earned money on a single product, whether it's for $10 or for $1,000, we hold it very dear to our heart to make sure that we provide them we surpass their expectations on every level, and we provide them a level of service that is unmatched, because every buck that's spent with us, it means the world to us, because we know what it's like to not get a sale in a day. We know what it's like to hear all those no's that Pat and I heard with American Made Nutrition. We know what it's like to not have the ability to serve this massive amount of customers that we have. So it's just, we just put everything we have into every department. And I think that's a huge hurdle for us, because we do put so much time and effort into growing a customer service team, into training a customer service team, to, the shipping guys. I mean, our shipping guys are awesome, and it's difficult to find people that are willing to work as hard as they are, so I think the hurdles are just the expectations that we have for ourselves, and living up to our own expectations. It's incredibly difficult, but it's a reason that I think that people return to us to be a repeat customer.
Yeah. Is it difficult juggling two different brands? And because it's not like each brand only has 2 or 3 offerings. I mean, there's a substantial amount of products to each brand. So is there any complications with trying to juggle, I guess, either stock, inventory, deciding when to release a new product, just keeping the cart going off, prevent it from going off the rails?
Oh yeah. There's a ton of challenges, because Axe Sledge is obviously our flagship brand, and we only have 20 people here, so it's not like we have 400 people here that are working to do the marketing for All American Roughneck, American Made Nutrition, and Axe Sledge.
Right.
Most of our focus in a day goes to Axe Sledge, but the way we see it is if we continue to spread, the word of Seth, if we continue to grow Axe Sledge, it's going to grow everything around it. And American Made is, it's as simple as just filling holes, filling gaps that people have in stores. So American Made is primarily a wholesale brand. Axe Sledge is probably 60-40 direct to consumer to wholesale. Okay. But American Made's been able to fill a lot of gaps that people have had in stores on shelves, just based on poor ownership of a brand pissing these people off. Yeah. It seems like a lot of brands to me, it seems like a lot of brands are just pissing store owners off just to piss them off sometimes. It just doesn't make sense to me. Just running these crazy sales or running these buy one, get ones. And it's like, here's our products. We have a fish oil over here. It has an American Made Nutrition logo on it, and we're not going to sell it for 25% off on our website. So if you want it, you can have it. Yeah. But I mean, that sounds so dumb and simple. But they already trust us with Axe Sledge now. They know that we're not gonna do something shady. Like they just trust us. So if we have fair pricing, if we have good products with American Made, they'll pick it up.
Hmm.
More times than not, they'll pick it up. But the difficulty with the overlap of products, we don't really. So American Made's it's moving to an all natural line. We have some flagship products with it, such as our Amino Hydro. We have Daily Cleanse. It's a huge seller. But it's going to move to a completely all natural line, just so that there's no overlap. There's no, it's just completely different. So we just don't want to have a pre-workout because it's a supplement company.
Right.
So we're getting rid of pre-workout. Sounds odd, right? But we're just going to get rid of it. We have 5-pound proteins with AMN. We don't have 5-pounders with Axe Sledge. So it is difficult, but it's serving a different market. Just for some information for you. So with American Made, we have about 60% women that purchase from American Made Nutrition. Why? I don't know. It couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. With Axe Sledge, it's like 95% male for obvious reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say that makes sense.
But for obvious reasons, it's kind of funny. It is difficult. It has its challenges. But if that was one of honestly, the biggest challenge was when we first started Axe Sledge, when Pat and I still only owned American Made Nutrition. We owned Axe Sledge all together. We owned All American Roughneck. That was more of a challenge because we didn't trust each other completely in the first 6 months we worked together. I'll be honest. I mean, it takes us a very, very long time to start to really, really trust each other and see each other as brothers. And then we do now. But the biggest challenge was like, okay, how do we separate our time to focus on this company that I own separately than this company with these guys? And that's when we threw it all on the table and said, guys, we're all in this together. We don't want to do it with anybody else ever. And we're just going to lock each other down. And because we're the only 4 people we can stand to be around for more than a half hour anyway. So, there's obvious challenges of the cross, the products going from brand to brand, but we figured that out. We've approached it, and it's like I said, as long as we keep pushing forward with Seth, pushing forward with his message, pushing forward with Axe Sledge, everything else grows right around it.
Perfect. Earlier, you mentioned identifying select retail partners and working with them. One thing I'm always curious when I'm discussing things with brand owners is how do you identify which retailers you decide to work with and partner with? Because obviously, it's not an exclusive relationship. They are housing hundreds, if not thousands, of other products which are direct competition to you in some form or another. So how do you identify a partner, and how are you, I guess, you can't guarantee that they're not going to screw you over, they're not going to give your products attention, but what kind of steps do you take as an owner to say, all right, I feel comfortable offering my products in this retailer versus this other one who I don't really feel that way?
Sure. A lot has to do, I think, with the length of time they've been in business. We get a lot of wholesale inquiries with people that are hoping to start a business or hoping to, use us to get their business open. And obviously for those that are huge red flags. But then you also have the people that will approach you, and the first sentence is always that E word, exclusivity, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, okay, so we'll also get phone calls, right? From the store says, oh, you just sold to XYZ down the street because he saw that I was advertising it, and now you're selling more product because of me advertising it. And it's like, we just can't get down with that, because the amount of work that we put into making sure that the marketing is where it needs to be so that these stores have more foot traffic based on us getting our word out there, our brand out there. That has to be fair to everybody. So I get it. If I'm selling a product and somebody down the street, my competitor, comes in with our product, it's going to be a little aggravating. Yeah. But everybody's got to eat, right? So we're going to do the best we can to support each and every store that has our product. But at the same time, it's very difficult to tell somebody no that wants to purchase your product and make some money on it themselves. But the relationship has to be completely fair. So if somebody approaches us with exclusivity that we just met, it's not going to happen. It's not going to be a good long-term relationship. They're just looking for a quick buck, in my opinion. But so, for instance, we have Rock's Discount Nutrition down in Texas, who all around San Antonio area that we went to visit. They have a lot of locations, and they do a great job of marketing our product. So if somebody comes in right down the street from them, opens a new business and tries to sell our product, it's like, well, we have a history with these guys. We
Hmm.
trust these guys. That's something I can see. That's something I can trust. That's something I can get down with as far as talking about something to work out.
Yeah.
Um, Natural Body in New York. Steve's a great friend. We have a relationship with him. I'm not going to sell around Steve just because I respect what he does for us.
Hmm.
He talks about the brand to other people. He's a huge influence in the brick and mortar community. Steve, I got his back, so I know he's got ours.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in a month. That doesn't happen like that. So we don't have guidelines. It's we just kind of feel out all of our relationships, and there's just a couple guys I just thought of off the top of my head, but they built our trust over time.
Hmm.
So I need to give them our trust in return. So, but if somebody that we don't know approaches us about something, it's just, we're not going to work with them because we know it'll be a waste of time in the long run.
Yeah.
But I always tell them, like, hey, I mean, internationally it happens a lot. I get it
Hmm.
because of the steps they have to go through to get product approved and so forth. And like, I get that, but you're still going to have to earn our trust. It's still not going to happen overnight. Like Master Joe's in Australia is one of our great international partners.
Hmm.
Joe never once asked for exclusivity on our products ever, and we worked together for a year and a half. But him and I know that he has exclusivity. Like, why is that? It's just because of our relationship over the last year and a half, and just always communicating, staying open. He's very consistent with ordering from us. He's very consistent in marketing us. He just earned it. Yeah, there's no guidelines that we have written down that people go through, or there's not an application they fill out, so to speak. But once we know who the people are out there that are selling products that are MAP pricing, we know who they are. It's unfortunate, but all you can do is just say, hey, we do have a policy on this. We're not trying to fuck the guy over neck down the street.
Hmm.
You guys, you have to market your business better than that guy. Just like I have to market our business better than all the other 5,000 brands out there that are marketing animals.
Right.
They're fucking marketing and advertising animals. I mean, it's a tough industry to stand out in, right?
Correct.
So as far as having a brick and mortar location that wants exclusivity or wants us to not sell product down the street, it's like, guys, we're in the same boat. You have to market your company to your community better than I have to market our company to our community.
Yeah.
I get it, but at the same time, it's like, okay, Mr. So-and-so that owns store, nutrition, whatever. Okay, don't sell my competitor's brand in your product, in your store. Okay, how's that going to go over?
Yeah. Not very well.
Take just go clean off all the shelves and just leave Axe Sledge and American Made Nutrition up there, please.
Yep.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Since y'all deal with overseas sales as well, and I know that each country's palates are going to be a little bit different. From what I've gathered, Americans, we like our stuff super sweet and super strong flavored. Some other demographics, like the Australian markets, New Zealand's, typically like things a little bit lighter flavored. Have y'all struggled with having to reformulate or tweak flavoring, or do y'all keep the flavors pretty much the same across domestic and international sales?
I've noticed actually in Australia they're big on citrus, a lot of citrusy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
As far as formulation of product, yeah, it's. I feel like it's almost the Wild West here compared to a lot of other places.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, so like our flagship product, Axe Sledge Hydraulics, our non-stim pump.
Mm-hmm.
We have agmatine. Can't have it in the UK.
Correct.
So we're looking at these other formulas. We're not happy with them yet. We're just not happy with them yet. But so therefore we don't do it. It's like a sleep aid that we've been working on for a fucking year, I think. I'm gonna bring my business partner in here, Pat, by the way.
Sure.
If you don't mind. But anyhow, the sleep aid, no melatonin, and what's that on? Yeah, in Australia. So have to go back to the drawing board on that. Let me introduce Pat here. I'm going to take my headphones off. We on here?
Yeah, perfect.
Well, this is Pat. This is my guy I was telling you about that I met 6 years ago. We started AMN with, best friend, manufacturing experience and all that. But we were just talking about challenges. We talk about challenges in both brands and also challenges in reformulating products for overseas.
Oh, yeah, international.
Yeah, so Pat deals with our international distributor in the UK, which is, obviously its own challenge, but he can give you a couple words on the UK side of things.
Yeah, probably you understand each international distribution point, different countries allow different ingredients. Some we might think are basic ingredients, such as an agmatine that we find every day all over the U.S. and domestically. They're allowed in, certain areas of the world, but UK not allowed. So, some of our products that have agmass in it and so forth, the Arginine keto glutarate, we have to go ahead and remove those items and reformulate so they can really get behind the product, such as our hydraulic. That's our number one selling product.
Yeah.
A little bit of reformulation. It's tough to do sometimes because hydraulic, in my eyes, is one of the best formulated pump products on the market. So to reformulate something and know that it might not be to the expectation level of our quality, to meet other country standards is tough. But it's something that we have to do.
So it's a tough moral decision because, like we always say, we do things our way. We don't skimp, we don't cut any edges. But when it comes down to it, it's like, okay, well, if we make the best product that we can make for that territory or for that that country, that's okay because we're doing the best we can for that certain territory.
Right.
Would we sell it here? Probably not. The sleep aid for Australia. Would we sell that here? I don't know. It's going to be a tough decision to make, but
it will sell here.
It will. We know that. Yeah, it will sell. But
if you add 3 milligrams or 5 milligrams of melatonin plus up to 5 HTP and so forth, and those other ingredients, it's going to maximize, and we give our customer the best quality product that we know we can make. So at the same time, over in Australia, hey, this is still the best quality product we can make for that territory. So it's just, with the way the world's going now, all the new normals.
Correct.
We're in a world of new normals. So this is the new normal. So we have to make different products for different areas. Canada will be different as well. We'll have to make some adjustments when we're full tilt in Canada. So, it's part of the game, but it's also, the fun part as well. Formulation is fun.
Yeah.
You have to think of it that way, and it's always try to make the best decision possible for your distribution point and also for ourselves as a company and hold true to who we are. So that's the best part of it.
Mike mentioned earlier that you used to run a manufacturing facility, Pat, and that you're kind of the ingredient guy in the group. So do you handle most of the formulation? Is it a team effort? When y'all bring a new product to market, what's that creation process?
So a lot of times the process, I'll go ahead and we'll decide on a product we want to come out with, right? And I'll go ahead and use my expertise as far as ingredients go, put a formulation together, and then we'll review it as a team. We'll review it as far as effectiveness goes first. So we'll do a sample round with effectiveness, make sure the product's doing what we want it to do. And then we'll go with making sure the flavor is on point because some of these products may be the best product, taste awful.
Right. Yeah, certain ingredients can taste like lighter fuel.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going through that right now.
I'm going through it right now. Yeah, I'm going through it right now, and one just tastes like dirt. I'm like, oh, it just tastes like mushroom manure. If you had to eat mushroom manure, it's like.
Last time I ate mushroom manure, that's what it tasted like.
That's what it tasted like. But those are some of the hurdles that we come across, and it's a reform product for international. And I'm like, I can't get behind this product because I wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't drink it.
But here's the thing and I'm not talking about any brand in particular, but then you'll take a product from a brand. This is what puzzles me sometimes. And it'll say XYZ of what we know, how this product should taste. And you taste it, and it's like super sweet and it tastes really good. and it's confusing to me sometimes. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way this industry goes, I think.
Yeah, or I've had instances where I'll take a pre-workout, and it on the label it will say it has X amount of caffeine plus if there's other stimulants in there, and I will take it. And I've even done it on my wife, and my wife is much more sensitive to stimulants than I am, and she took a full scoop of this pre-workout and fell asleep within 30 minutes of taking it. I mean, I swear there was no caffeine in it. I've never seen somebody just take a scoop of pre-workout and then just go take a nap. She said, we started our workout. She said, I'm tired. I'm going to go lay down. And she was out for like an hour and a half. So I'm always skeptical if I don't get that initial blast of caffeine, and because I know what caffeine's supposed to feel like in a line with the other ingredients and the dosage and all of that stuff. I know how I should react to it. And when I don't get that, I'm always curious to think, is something not in this product that is not supposed to be, or something? I mean, there's obviously an error somewhere.
Yeah.
A lot of times that happens, but at the same time too, I've had caffeine products that are so high, your brain will hit that threshold immediately, and it won't work. It will reverse action on it, and you're in that caffeine lag. All of a sudden, you're like, okay, it feels like I drank 4 cups of coffee today, and I'm on my tailwind down, because it hits you so quick. And that's I look at a lot of formulations. I reverse engineer a lot, which I like to do, just so I can see what's truly going into products. But if you don't have that escalation and decline, you're going to get that quick fatigue. So a lot of our products, you'll see 2 to 3 different types of caffeine. Teacrine, dynamine, caffeine, that stack, and that's with Compound over there. We work really well with them for a long time. I've known Matt Titlow for a long time, and that's one of the things we always talk about is how people use caffeine and they're not taking their energy level up and back down so that they don't get that lag feeling, because it'll hit them hard.
Yeah, I love teacrine, especially with caffeine. I find something weird and I've talked about this with Justin a lot, that when I combine caffeine, teacrine, and dynamine, I'm curious to get both of yours feedback. If you combine both of those 3 ingredients, do they make you tired, or do you like the 3 of them together? Have you experimented with them much on yourselves, or give us your thoughts on those ingredients together?
I like all 3 together. I'm a big fan of all 3 if you're at the right dosage.
Okay.
Because if you're not at the right dosage, it's which a lot of people just put enough in to get it put on the label.
Right.
Then you're not going to get that sustained energy for a long period of time. And that's the feeling I like. I used to be a big ephedra guy, right? Give me that high stim, go through the roof, the ECA stacks, and then crash like a son of a gun. But now I want that even feeling. I'm getting old, so it's like, okay, give me that even feeling up and down.
Yes,
I am getting old.
Yeah. Getting old.
But that's just the experience too. That's the feeling I like. I like that even keel coming down, and that's what the dynamine, teacrine, caffeine, even dicaffeine malate do for you, right? So Infinergy, we use Infinergy in some products, and that'll give you that even feel, not just a crash feeling.
Oh, here's a question I got for Pat that Rob and I talked about earlier. But so when I was playing ball in college at EAS, what about, because he was a big time coach and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
But what was like back in your day? Like what was it?
No. When I first started in the industry, number 1 was metrics. Metrics was huge. The packets, EAS, Myoplex packets, and that was the time that Muscle Tech was coming out with the 3 Cell-Tech, Nitro-Tech powders, and then the Hydroxycut were the 3 big ones.
So Pat was a West Coast national sales manager for SciTech. SciFit. Well, that was based here in Oakmont.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, before that's when he got his start, before he went into the manufacturing side.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so he's seen the industry for a while.
Yeah, been there a while. Did the manufacturing for about 8-9 years. Dealt with a lot of big companies manufacturing their products, a lot of chains of stores, helping them. The only problem I didn't like that is a lot of companies will give you a price point, and you're supposed to reverse engineer off that price point. I'm like, how much to make an effective product for $4.25, packaged, sealed, and delivered? It's how about we go quality and then we see what the price lands at? But
Correct.
it's industry. It's the industry. A lot of people are just after that. Hey, quick sale. Let's see how fast we can get our business grown.
Yeah.
And they're not relying on that return customer.
Mm-hmm.
Relying on new customers.
With your background experience in manufacturing, is there any thought, and have y'all ever had any backdoor discussions into one day opening your own manufacturing facility and kind of doing your own products and doing any of that again?
Pat'll never do it.
No. I mean, I was managing 80 people in a manufacturing plant.
Mm-hmm.
A couple shifts. The margins are slim.
Okay.
The amount of testing for each run and dealing with the customer and the timeliness and all the new rules and regulations with CFR 111 and 101 with the labeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it was a great experience and knowledge to help with the brand.
Yeah.
Because I know all the pricing on everything.
Right.
So we are able to get high quality products for a good cost.
Mm-hmm.
And still we're making money. Our manufacturing is making money. I understand the hurdles that our manufacturer goes through. So I'm not as tough on them as, say, other people will be.
Brand owners would be. Yeah.
Right. So, and it's turned out to be a great experience because, and it helps us with what we do now.
Yeah, I think a lot of brands out there, they're really good at like one or two or like 3 of the 10 things you have to be good at to have a successful brand. Mm-hmm. We just happen to have 4 guys that have 4 really focused specialties at the top level, I would say. Mm-hmm. I mean, I put us up against any team out there as far as, having an expert in the manufacturing side, formulation side, having an expert in influencing people and living the actual life and stuff. And then between marketing and sales, between me and Bob, we could take this amazing product, we can help develop this amazing product and help bridge that gap between creation of the product, between the label of the product, between, Seth, and put it all together, then actually be able to market it and actually be able to take these amazing products, put great marketing behind it, and then build these relationships with the wholesale side. Yeah. Because without the relationships with the wholesale side, people underestimate, I think, the growth of a company based on these long-lasting relationships with these brick and mortar stores. Mm-hmm. The margins aren't as great, and they're just kind of like, okay, well, let's get direct consumer, or vice versa. They do one or the other. But the amount of time that we put into building relationships with our individual customers plus our stores, I think that's what separates us in the long run, longevity of the brand.
Excellent. Each year, the industry, we get bombarded with new ingredients, and there's always a race, or a lot of companies are in a rat race to be the first one to release an ingredient, or be the first to include it in a product, be it a pre-workout or some new inclusion into a protein or something like that. How much evidence do y'all need to see? And a lot of times, these ingredients only have one study, if that, behind them. As guys that love supplements, use supplements, design them for yourselves, and understand how the industry and the manufacturing and the ingredient play works. How much evidence do you need to see on these new ingredients before you feel even interested in maybe trying them out or including them in a product?
The majority of the ingredients we have been around, but for new ingredients, a lot of the times there has to be a handful of studies done prior, and it's also a lot of discussion. And that's one of the other benefits of manufacturing before, the relationships with these owners of these patent ingredients. Hey, Pat, we're coming out with a new patent ingredient. I'll get you all the studies when we have them available, mm-hmm. right? And then there's, what's your new products? What are you working on? Can we utilize this ingredient? Can you utilize it in one of your new formulas? Yeah. Because they know we use high-end patent ingredients. Mm-hmm. And they won't even bring us anything that they think's a little bit in question or not finalized.
I'd say we're very fortunate to be able to have the relationships we have with like the Matt Titlows of the world. Mm-hmm. They come to us and they start with the with the studies, with the information first. They know what we look for. They know the quality we look for, and they come with the evidence first, and then they kind of get into everything else about the product. So we know that whenever these guys come to us, that there's something that's valid. Mm-hmm. There's something that's been proven.
Right, and on the other side too, they understand it's going to be in a quality product.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not. And when we started the brand, our hydraulic product has 5 patent ingredients. Mm-hmm. To get 3 different patent companies, ingredient companies, to allow me to put all of them together in one, and then put them all on the front of the label. It was a challenge. It was a challenge at first, but it opened a lot of doors for a lot of companies now.
Yeah, and expensive too.
It's not cheap. It's not cheap by any means, but it's our number one selling product. Is it the cheapest? Absolutely not. Yeah. But does it work? Yes. Yeah. And then you take demo day along with it and strategize that way, where if you take these two, a carb powder with 3 patent ingredients, and then you take the hydraulic together, you're full as fuck.
Yeah, I was going to say, y'all, that more or less answered my next question where I was going with this, is that do you think the average consumer who isn't as much into the either the trademark names or the science behind the supplements like we are, do you find that they're willing to pay that premium price tag that these patented ingredients cost?
I think consumers are a lot smarter now. Well, for me, they are a lot smarter now than they were 15 years ago, obviously.
Yeah.
By having these patent ingredients, they're able to go research these products, these ingredients, and say, okay, this is what this is for. This is what this is used for. This is why they're all together, right? And this is the feeling I'm going to have. And that's our job as well. And that's like I talked to, a couple other people like Justin and Price Plow Ben and so forth, and say, hey, look, there's studies behind these. There's feeling behind it. Now people can go research. It's our job to inform people of what these products do. Education is huge right now. If you can educate on your product, at the end of the day, that's what's most important. And we're confident of what's in our product, and it's legit what it is, that we can explain it and it's going to work and people will come back to us.
Yeah, it's the Justin Halls of the world that are I think having a huge influence on the customer base of the supplement industry. I think that's going to become more and more important. I think he's going to gain great notoriety over time, even greater notoriety over time. Just because he has this way of just telling people to figure things out sort of on their own, which is wonderful. People need education as much as possible.
Correct.
So we'd rather create that high-end product that might cost a little bit more money, rather than creating something we can sell for $10 less, and then one day have to develop up to that standard of people being more educated. So we're just going along, just thinking that people are more educated and that they're going to become more educated as time goes by.
Yeah.
And that's when they'll keep looking at our brand and keep going, okay, they were doing it right from day one. They're going to continue to keep doing it right. We just want to be consistent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And that's too why you'll notice all our products we have no proprietary blends.
Correct.
Everything's transparent right on the label.
Yeah, go make it. Go for it. You're still going to have to sell it. You're going to have to market better than us. You're going to have to create better relationships than us. Go ahead and make it.
But yeah, that allows these people to go look and see exactly what's in each product. The dosage and everything.
Yeah.
So, people are like, are you scared of that? No, because I think in a couple of years, FDA is going to mandate that everything is transparent on the label.
I sure hope so.
Why wouldn't
Why wouldn't
they?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they?
I don't understand.
Right. You put prop blends together, I'm like, oh, another proprietary blend. That first thing it says to me, cheap product.
No. What I was saying is they don't want you to knock their formula off.
No.
That's what it is.
Not at all.
The other argument I hate is, well, you don't know the exact ingredient breakdown of Coca-Cola or the loaf of bread you buy at the store. I'm thinking that it's apples and oranges. It's not nearly the same thing.
It's way different.
That's funny.
So, I'd like to get your thoughts on the recently released, which is an amazing marketing campaign, label design. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Whiskey and cola, phenomenal. My uncle is a huge Jack Daniels fan. So walk me through how this whole thing got started and how you guys pulled this off. So.
Jeez.
Have you tried it yet?
I have not tried it yet. Justin did a live tasting of it on a podcast 2 weeks ago, and he said it was phenomenal.
Yeah, we'll get you one.
Send you one out. Yeah.
So a lot of our customers, and I mean, they all know that the four of us, the four dickheads, we drink Jack and Diets. It doesn't matter. Like if we go to lunch today, we'll probably have a Jack and Diet. It's all of our vendors know. Everybody knows. It's just like I said at the beginning. We just are who we fucking are, and there's just no way around it. We can't even change it if we wanted to.
Blue collar.
No matter what our wives might think. But anyhow, so everybody just knows. So like if somebody follows one of our stories or set stories as we travel, wherever we're at, we're just always drinking Jack and Diet. So people like will tag us and all this stuff everywhere. Our demo crew and we have 25,000 people in our Facebook group. And it's just this awesome, badass blue collar community. We think they're cool as fuck. And they're always drinking Jack and Diets with us, whatever, And so we were like, last year at the Arnold, when we actually had the Arnold, we did like this Jack Daniels. Actually, I might be wearing it. Oh, I am. Yeah, we did this Jack Daniels tea last year.
Sold out.
Yeah, it's sold out. But we just thought it'd be so cool. Like we said to Pat one day, like, next challenge for you, bud. How about a Jack and Diet? Or I'm sorry, whiskey and cola. I didn't say
whiskey,
Jack.
Yeah, whiskey cola.
Yeah. So we went through a few of them, and we just knew it'd be a hit. We knew it'd be funny. We knew people would be all over it, but it still had to taste good. It had to be on point. It has to. You can't just do something gimmicky and not follow through with a solid tasting product that you can have over and over again. And I mean, believe it or not, I can't wait for you to try it. But believe it or not, you can drink our whiskey cola grind and have it be refreshing. It's very refreshing taste. So it was just another thing. It's just who we are.
You can even add a shot of Jack to it.
That's what I was going to say. I want to actually make a little anabolic cocktail there. We take a scoop of the EAAs, we take a scoop of the of Jack Daniels, and go to town.
That's how we first tested it.
And you stay hydrated that way. There's hydration formula in our grind product, so it's like, okay, you're staying hydrated while drinking.
Perfect.
But it doesn't change the flavor. You should put a shot of Jack in there, it tastes exactly the same.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty wild.
We should probably run like an ad campaign on Facebook to say it's like a hangover cure too, huh?
There you go. Yeah, it's got plus. Yeah, it'll prevent muscle breakdown and keep you hydrated. Everything you need right there.
Yep. Yeah. Take one first thing in the morning.
So with that, so obviously you all like your Jack Daniels. Do you ever venture into the land of scotches, bourbons, or even like the elevated Jack Daniels that is Gentleman Jack? Do you ever go that way too?
Oh man, I gotta show you what our podcast room looks like. Seth and Bob are doing a podcast right now, or else I'd walk you in there. But yeah, we're huge fans. I wouldn't say aficionados, I'd say fans of everything bourbon and scotch. We love it. It's just one of our, like, we don't have any hobbies outside of work. Like, we don't do anything. Like, we're just with each other.
With each other all day, every day.
And if we're not with each other, we're literally texting each other just about work. But the one thing that the four of us just love is a good scotch and good bourbon. So we probably have 100 bottles on our wall in the podcast room. Yeah. And I have some scotch behind me.
Yeah, if you watch one of the podcasts behind Seth, you'll see all the bottles. We have like 3 bookshelves full.
Yeah, so we do. We act like we know a lot more than we do about it. We like sniff them and try to get the notes, and we act impressed by each other and pat each other on the back. But we just kind of get a buzz.
It's just a fun hobby. It's a fun hobby for us.
Do you have a current favorite that either of y'all?
Oh, God. Boy, how long do we got here?
Right now, I'm into Basil Hayden.
Yeah, Basil Hayden 10-year.
Very good. Basil Hayden is very good.
So Pat runs this thing called the Gauntlet.
Oh, jeez.
Sometimes he needs to know.
No.
So where he'll go.
Wait. The Gauntlet used to be starting at 25 dumbbells, running all the way up to 50s, and then back down. So I turned it into a drinking game.
Where he'll be like, all right, I'm gonna run a gauntlet, so I'll have to pick out like 6 from our wall. And he'll set them down, and he runs down the line and then swigs each one. It's science, but
it's usually at the end of the day.
Yeah. I would recommend that. Yeah, that probably would be a good thing.
Yeah, but his is Basil Hayden 10 right now. Mine, we're really into ryes right now. We're kind of turning into rye guys, but
pretty fly.
Pretty fly for a rye guy.
Yeah, it's a good T-shirt.
You'll see that out soon. But I like the Whistle Pig 10-year. I like all Whistle Pig ryes. Mm-hmm. My favorite that we have a Lefroy 27 that I'm a huge fan of. But I'm more of a Scotch guy. Mm-hmm. Those guys are more into the bourbons.
Like my overall favorite still Blanton's.
Blanton, yeah. I was waiting for that one to drop. I love it. It's impossible to find a bottle of it in any liquor store around us. But there's
Yeah.
this wonderful bar. It's not open right now. It is attached to one of the major grocery stores here in Texas, H-E-B. But they actually have a bar and restaurant attached to the grocery store. And every Wednesday is their Whiskey Wednesday. And so I can go and get a very generous 2+ ounce pour of that for like $6.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's my
Beautiful.
happy hour afternoon workflow right there. That's
Yeah.
I'll sit there for 2
Okay.
hours or something working and enjoying
yeah.
Blanton. So yeah, I can't find it anywhere, but my local HEB has it, thankfully.
Same thing. We can't find it, but luckily we have a nice neighbor whose sister works at state liquor store and supplies us with a nice amount when it comes in.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we get like 6 at a time.
She's like, "How many bottles you want?" I got 12. How many do you need? We're like, 6. It'll last us a while. Because old fashions, I love old fashions.
Yes. I've a very good friend of ours gave me for my birthday the history of the old fashioned. So it tracks the evolution of it from like late 1800s, from birthing out of the whiskey cocktail, and then how, in like the 50s, 60s, and 70s it got bastardized and turned into like a fruit salad with a shot of whiskey in it, and its current evolution and stuff like that. So yeah, I love old fashions. I love them.
Nice. Whereabouts in Texas are you?
Just outside of Austin.
Okay.
Okay.
We were heading down there back in March 20th. We were supposed to be there, so we'll probably be there sometime in the near future. We'll definitely
Yeah, we'll have to get together.
get together
We'll go out for a drink or some barbecue or something. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like Texas.
Yeah, love Texas.
What was the place we went to? The resort in San Antonio. Quintana? La Quintana?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Right, we stayed there. We were at Rock's Discount Nutrition. Santiago's like, "Hey, this is the place you want to stay at."
Yep.
So we went there and we walked in. We're like, "Oh, geez, this is amazing." Then we walked to the bar. Oh, it was bourbons and scotches. We're like, "Oh, this is heaven."
Sat down there for a while. Yeah.
We don't need to go anywhere. We just sit right here.
Yeah.
It was pretty wild. Pretty cool experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Easily introduced.
We are.
In bringing things here home, guys, what else is on tap for 2020 and into early 2021 as far as the brand? Either can you give us a peek on some maybe new products, new flavors, things like that?
I don't know what you talked about yet.
We didn't talk about anything as far as new stuff coming out. We're going to start. So anybody that's not familiar with All American Roughneck, it's a limited release company. And so we drive a ton of traffic, sell everything out in like 10 minutes usually, and then we move on to the next release 6 weeks later, whatever. We're going to start implementing a little bit of that with Axe Sledge as far as unique flavors go. Just to give you a little inside info, the first one we'll be doing at the end of this month. It'll be for our 7th year pre-workout. It's going to be, so we're big movie aficionados. So the one we're going to start with is going to be like a pineapple mango. We're going to call it Pineapple Express.
Nice.
So yeah, we're hoping to do it for 420, but it'll be a little bit later.
A little bit later. Seth Rogen, John Franco. It's kind of like Seth and Bob.
Yeah.
So Pineapple Express.
Yeah. So we're going to start doing a little bit more of that strategy, maybe every 6 weeks or so for Axe Sledge. Like I said, with AMN, we're going to move it over to everything completely all natural. It's a very clean line as it is, but we're going to keep pushing it that way. New products. We are, like I said, looking at a sleep aid. Just trying to make sure we're comfortable with it. Looking at a
fat burn powder
for big international requests.
Testosterone powder.
Test powder, yeah.
Test boost powder. More flavors of homemade. We have a blue muffin coming out here soon. We'll have a 4th flavor. It's one of my new favorite products.
That video Seth did of homemade was fucking hysterical. It was amazing. It was Justin. I'm not as active on social media and all of that stuff. Thankfully, I have Justin to alert me to things like this. He says, "You've got to go see this." He says, "I know you don't watch a lot of shit, but go watch this. It's hysterical." The idea for that was genius. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's one of my best friends, Darcel, is in that video with them, and they just cracked.
He's our shipping manager at the time.
Yeah, he killed it.
Yeah, it was funny.
We sold twice as many double chocolate as we did sweet potato pie.
I guess he was better.
We do like to have a lot of fun when we do things. So
yeah, I get that. Y'all are very authentic, and it seems like y'all are having a good time but getting shit done at the same time. So it's the best of both worlds.
100%. Yeah. But I think that's mostly what we have. We're in early stages, a couple other things that we're just not happy with quite yet. But I mean, that's kind of as simple. We try to keep things as simple as possible while pushing forward. So I think if we can come out with 3 or 4 new products this year that we really love, and maybe 3 or 4 new flavors of other products, I think we'd be really happy with that.
Perfect. All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you very much for the time today. This was a blast. It was a lot more fun than I could have even. I knew Justin set me up for this, saying you're gonna love this. It's awesome. They are great guys there, and so I had a very positive feeling going into this interview. But I mean, it exceeded that. So this was awesome. Thank you guys for a very enjoyable time. And this is the part where you can shamelessly plug anything and everything from the company. So go ahead.
Oh no, I mean we just appreciate everybody's support. Talking to people like you, like I said at the beginning, we don't fuck with anybody. We don't talk to very many people, and Justin's the reason that we're probably talking right now because I take his relationship and his advice very seriously. But no, we just appreciate anybody that's listening. If you haven't heard of us yet, axesledge.com, AmericanMadeNutrition.com, AllAmericanRoughneck.com. Check us out. If you like what you see, buy some. If you don't like what you see, we appreciate you coming by the website and just taking the time to see what we got. But other than that, man, we just appreciate your time and your expertise, and anybody we share this with, we appreciate them as well. So, thanks for the good chat today.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thank you, and have a great week.
Awesome.
Yeah,
you as
too,
well.
man.
Appreciate it.